All right, I'm Kevin Vicker, and I'm here with Chet Dyerson, and Chet's on an interesting journey. He is traveling from, I understand, California to Washington, D.C.
Correct.
As you are wheeling for the cure for spinal cord injuries.
Yes.
And so just give us a little background exactly what are you doing as you travel through the country?
Well, basically what I'm doing is trying to educate the population of the United States to get more backing for spinal cord research. We're extremely underfunded, and then also spinal cord injury is very much in the closet. People in wheelchairs are sad. They don't want to talk about it. People, out of wheelchairs are afraid to approach people in wheelchairs because it's just an awkward situation. And I want to stop that. It's not a stigma. It's just an injury. And go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, and I just certainly understand where you're coming from there, and it just kind of got me thinking. What is your story? How did you sustain your spinal cord injury?
11 years ago, I was in a motocross accident, and it was just a nothing little 2-mile over the bar, crash, and that's all she wrote. But at that point in time, they said that they were 5 to 10 years away from being able to fix me, And then now, 11 years later, they're saying they're about 5 to 10 years away. And the biggest problem is just the funding. They actually have the research done. It's just that they don't have the funds to push it through.
Sure. Now, right now, you're wheeling for the cure, but what about some things that you do when you're not involved in this project? Do you talk to people that have maybe more recently suffered an injury and try to kind of pep up their spirits a little bit?
Actually, when I run into people, but this is the first time I've ever done anything of this sort. But
it's a good place to start.
Well, it is, and I'm actually going to do this again next year. It's amazing how much work there is to put this thing together, and because I had never done anything like this before, I was caught by surprise. So, one of the toughest things is getting any sort of funding and stuff, because for one, I've never done it before. Nobody knows who I am. So hopefully next year it'll be a lot easier to put it together, get hospitals and rehab centers involved and stuff, because I've sent out 1 million emails and letters and stuff, and pretty much you kind of get ignored. But I think in today's day and age, with all the spam and stuff out there, nobody trusts anything. So now that I've got a little recognition on this tour, I think next year, and as soon as I get home, I will start working on next year's right away. Take a whole year to plan it. Certainly.
Now let's talk a little bit more about some of the specific details of your journey. Like, for instance, how many stops do you have between California and DC?
I stop about every 150 to 200 miles. Whatever, depending on how many towns I go through, that slows me down a little bit. Talk to as many people as I can. Talk to the media as much as I possibly can. Now, it was a little bit slow getting started, learning curve, I would say. But now it's full steam, towards DC, and should be there on July 4th or 5th.
Wow, so then you're making some good progress there. And is there any one stop or experience that you've had so far that maybe sort of stands out as a really good opportunity for you to be out here and doing what you're doing?
Well, actually, I mean, this is on the negative side. I was really surprised in California. I started my trip in California and went specifically to Sacramento because there's a lot of magic that happened in Sacramento a few years ago. They got into the stem cell research business, and it put a real boost into the research. And I couldn't even get on the news there. I had an interview set up, and then they flaked on me. And that was part of my big message, is to carry that steam across the country. I want to get more states involved, the federal government more involved, and regulate. So I don't want to have multiple states doing the same experiments, because it's just, whether it's failed or successful, it's counterproductive. So what I want to do, I want to see the federal government kind of dish it out. States can bid on different projects or whatever, and that way it moves the progress forward faster.
Okay, now let's suppose we've got someone that's watching this and they're getting inspired by the message and they decide that they would like to do something to help. First of all, what are some of the different things that they can do in order to help this cause, and then also how would they get started?
Well, the biggest thing that they can do is, contact their local legislature. We need the congressmen behind this, because it's going to take the people of the United States to push their congressmen, into supporting spinal cord research. Just like breast cancer, now took a lot of people, a lot of hard work to get it to where it is now. But they've got a lot of support, and and they've got a lot of funding also. We get less than 1% of the funding. They get like 10%. Not that that's bad. It's just we need more.
Yeah. Now, last question. You're in North Platte now, and you kind of mentioned that you'll try to talk to different people as you pass through towns. Is there anybody in particular that you've kind of contacted and reached out to here in North Platte?
Well, actually, I've been contacted by Channel 2 News, and we just arrived in town today. Basically, what I'm doing is the people. It's individuals, and then I urge them. I'm on Facebook, and if they do Facebook, then go on Facebook and follow my journey. On Wheeling to Cure SCI, and then tell everybody. Repost my stuff on their Facebook pages, because the more people that see it, the more people will know about it, and that's what we have to do. We have to network it across the country. I'm only one person, and but what I'm counting on is everybody I come in contact with to spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chet Dyerson, Wheeling the Cure SCI, we thank you so much for spending a few minutes talking to us, and good luck on the rest of your journey.
Thank you very much.
All right.